Hi, my name's Paul from globaltradingsoftware.com, and I was trading today and sharing all my trades on our Discord group, and the link for that will be below this video. I think the lesson of today is patience. So one of the guys in the Discord group actually was trading copper as well at the same time, but he lacked the patience to wait for the markets to respond to the direction in which we were both doing the same trade. So I'm going to come up with this. Like a Padawan's journey to become a Jedi, day trading requires patience and willingness to learn the ways of the market. Master the art of patience and you'll become a trading Jedi. So sometimes when you're day trading, you think you've got to be in and out of a trade within 15 minutes. This particular trade took 4 hours, but made $3,500. So I'm going to go through the trade. So I've actually put the slide deck together from the images I was sharing on the Discord group to go through the trade and the decisions I was making. So first of all, we were using the range breakout. The xBrat range breakout is designed to identify opening ranges. So when we're trading copper, the London opening range is very, very relevant to copper. So it's a 10-minute chart. We're on the NinjaTrader trading platform, and we have the range defined here. Okay, just above this 15-minute support and resistance zone. Okay, so the support and resistance zone is provided by the Guardian zone. So this is an automated support and resistance zone tool that looks at multiple time frames. So down here where the target was is the 30-minute time frame, that's in green. This cyan is a 15-minute time frame. So we have the London open. Basically, the price action finds support at this 15-minute zone and resistance at the previous day's New York Stock Exchange open. Okay, so we're in this narrow range. So we want to break out of that range. We want to break out of this. The range breakout that's defined is coloured in red. The bias depth heat map down below, all 6 time frames are red. So that's our signal, that's our confirmation. We've got to look left slightly at this pivot just before the London open. We want to make sure we're below that before we take that trade, and that's where I got in 1 tick below there. So moves us into the trade, and then it goes sideways, and this is where the patience comes and understanding the behavior. So the bias depth heat map, which is 6 time frames higher than the one that we're on now, is all red. It does go a little bit yellow and green, but the overall bias is bearish. The bias never changes for the opening range, so that's bearish. Once we've pushed through, we just seem to consolidate around that zone. When we enter a trade, we are prepared to lose where our stop loss is. Okay, so this is 1 tick above the high of that range. Being patient, understand that this really does not want to push higher. This candle here, this little spinning top, tried to push into the range, it failed and came back down again. We had more tries, it failed, and then eventually the weight of this bearish momentum took hold, and the sellers just took hold, and we started to go down. Then it's about managing expectations and managing the trade. So the first thing that I wanted to do was allow 2, 3, 4 of these 10-minute candles to start to push down and get some momentum before I went risk-free. So you can see here just at the stop risk-free. So we entered this trade around about 3:30 AM EST, so not long after the London Open. And then you were talking 5:30 before I'd make it risk-free. So it was a long time. Patience was needed, and then I wanted to be quite conservative with this trading stop and not be too aggressive early on just because of pullbacks. So now I use a multiple time frame strategy and a confluence type strategy, in that I use other trading indicators and strategies to give me help getting in a trade or managing the trade. In this case, this is a Uni Renko time frame on the chart inset here with the Slingshot. So the Slingshot measures pullbacks, measures the probability of those pullbacks, and then you trade those pullbacks. Now I didn't want to add any more contracts to this trade. What I wanted to do is to see if that behavior of pullbacks was orderly enough to use the slingshot to identify these pullback zones, probability pullback zones, and then going again. So that first instance when we got that one, I adjusted the stop a little bit further to lock in a little bit more profit just above this support and resistance zone. Again, on this smaller time frame, this was a sort of a near-term, short-term resistance, support and resistance that was identified on that Unirenko chart. So I'm just kind of above there for now. We've got about $4,212 profit locked in there, and that's not bad. You know, we're getting on the way there towards that target. The target's just inside that 30-minute support zone, so it's looking good. But like everything, momentum does slow down, and we have to give it a chance to pull back again and look for sensible ways to manage the trade. So in this situation, we do hit the second target zone of the slingshot down here. So this second zone just here, we see we hit it and it pulls back again. So this is an 85% probability, this first pullback zone where we got the one sell, and that's to the second target zone. So this is a combination of Fibonacci extensions and overlaps and those complement zones. So that's a very strong fib zone, if you like, and it does always pull back from there, but then it starts to move back down again. Once it starts to move back down again, I've formed a lower pivot. So I adjust my stop now below the support and resistance zones, but above that first pivot zone. So if you like, I'm 2 pivot zones behind to manage that trade. So next we actually break down below that second target zone, so I can be a little bit more aggressive and go above this next pivot down. Again, I'm being very conservative, $4,500 profit right now. Some people would just take that, but I've got that target in mind, and you know, if I start taking those profits too early, you know, 50 times out of 100 they're going to hit the target, and I'm going to regret that. And if they don't, I've got a nice trailing stop. I'm always going to have some profit locked in, but give those trades a chance to go and hit those targets. Then we get another pullback zone coming down here. So this, you know, again, same sort of profit here. We have consolidated, we're starting to base now. You can see on the 10-minute chart on the right here, 10, 20, 30, 40 minutes we're coming in, we're basing now. We've had a little pullback, we've got another pullback zone on that slingshot, on that scalping time frame. So I've gone very aggressive here, just above that pullback zone at 37230 to lock in more profit. Again, starting to be more aggressive, understanding that this chart pattern here is basing. It could push back up again here, so I want to be nice and aggressive now. So at this point, looking at both charts here, we see this candle just here rejects the lows, and it's got a cyan dot above. So that's higher than average volume. So it's rejected the lows on higher than average volume. That's a warning sign it's going to turn back up again. So I adjust the stop, another 3 ticks, but 3 ticks with 10 contracts of copper is quite a bit of money. So let's adjust it really tight now, just above this pivot for that pullback zone, just to lock in a little bit more profit. It was a little over $3,500. But this is the warning sign. This is the manager, the xBrat manager, and this is the first warning sign of a massive rejection of the lows. You know, that is just, with higher than average volume, you've got to be aware that this is basing, it's going to push back up again. And that's what it did. So it took the profit out at this point. I didn't get a fill on all 10 contracts at the same price. You know, you look at the entry here, I got filled 3 at this price, 7 at that price, and then when I got out, I got 8 at this price and 2 at that price. So it's just the way the broker works. But the main thing, it was to identify that rejection of the lows, to be more aggressive with that trailing stop and take as much profit as I could. So this confluence strategy in this particular case all came about with the xBrat range breakout, to identify that London Open for the copper futures and identify a sensible entry. I then had, when we're coming into the second and third candle, all that buyer's depth heat map here, all down, all red. So that's my confirmation. I've got the xBrat Guardian zones on there to give me those start points to understand where those multiple time frame support and resistance zones are, because they're very important. We don't want to be trading into support. We want to make sure we've got fresh air. And then on another screen I had the Slingshot on a smaller time frame to give me an idea on how to manage this, and were the rules being met for those pullbacks. So if I was trading the Slingshot, which I wasn't this time, I could have, there were decent trades, the pullbacks were orderly, they were measured, everything, all the rules are there. So that allowed me then to start adjusting my stops quite conservative to begin with, but then more aggressively. And then finally the manager, that gave me the indication, and that's what it's all about. It's that volume behavior, if you like. So that volume behavior there was a sure sign it's going to push back up, and the next candle did. That next candle was green, so it has more volume than that previous rejection candle, and it had higher than average volume. That continued to go up. So that was the time to take the profit at that point. On another day, that could have hit the target and made about $5,000. You've got to give these trades a chance to work. So remember, it's not just having patience to take these trades, to stay in these trades and manage them properly. You need the patience to learn. Learn the tools, learn the rules. So we've got lots of different trading strategies for different market conditions, and some will suit you, some will not. They all come with rules. We've made over 600 videos on the YouTube channel. These strategies work. I trade them, I share them on the Discord group. They do work. You just need the patience to learn them, to understand the behavior, get those entries right, and get that trade management right. So check out the links below for all of those trading indicators, and I hope to see you soon in the Discord group.